All right, all right. Welcome to another edition of Living Boldly with Purpose, and I am Dr. B. And I was just telling SIFU today, who is our guest, who is the man, New York experience. We're going to talk about so much stuff today that I've just been excited. When he finally said, "Hey, Brian, I am willing to come onto your podcast," I got excited because he just does so much in helping people, and this is going to be one of those episodes that you're going to want to stick to. You're going to want to rewind. You're going to want to pause. You're going to want to do all those things that sometimes we want. It's funny, Sifu, like when I started listening to podcasts, I thought, well, and there were so many gems and I would have my notebook out and I'd be sitting here, I'd be writing everything down, and I, trying to make sure that I would mess up and I couldn't read it, and then I would miss something going on. And then I realized I could hit the pause button and I could go from there, which is just so funny that, me, like, oh yeah, I'm this educated guy, but don't know how to hit the pause button when there's something good that I want to. So for those of you who are listening, if you're listening live right now, go ahead and know that it will be unrecorded. And if you miss something, like, I don't want you to stop in your car right now, and if that's where you're listening to it, or if you're on the treadmill and you fall off it, I'm just going to laugh at you because if you really want to take a note, just stop, use your phone. That's the other thing I didn't know. I was listening to podcasts while I was walking, and then I didn't realize I could just take my phone, put pause, record, whatever my note taking. Instead of trying to write down, I'm trying to find like a little receipt or something to write on. I'm like, we're in the technology age right now. We're able to be able to do so much. I was just thinking, so I do a goal setting workshop every year for folks. And this year I've been doing AI summits. And so I was thinking, instead of just doing an AI summit on the 27th this month, I'm going to do a goal setting with AI workshop that is going to, I'm just about it because I'm at the point now where I'm talking to ChatGPT, to that little globe guy that sounds like a brother. It sounds like this black dude is talking back to me, and I'm just having this conversation with him every single day. But it's kind of setting my accountability. It's setting my kind of just my walk through life. And so as I figure out how to get AI involved, but this show is not about Brian and what he's doing all day. This show today is about SIFU RAFAEL from New York City. And I have not been to New York since 1998 when we adopted twins from Brooklyn. And so that's the last time we went and picked the boys up. I'm going to just tell the quick story of part of that, and then I'm going to get you on. But so we are in California, and we decided that we're going to adopt some boys that are a little bit older. We didn't want to go with trying to do the brand new at birth. They ended up having to were crack babies, and they're 30 years now. They're wonderful dudes. But we go to New York because that's where they were born at Harlem Hospital, and we were visiting because we went through the foster classes and everything, and so now we're visiting these children to see if they're going to be a fit for our family. And so we fly out there, and they give us, hey, here's the hotel, and some, go to these pizzerias and these places, and take the boys to Central Park. And this is in the winter, so it's not like a fun Central Park we're doing, snow and all that kind of stuff. And then we take them over to the FAO toy store and all that kind of stuff. So we had this great weekend with them, and so we take them back to St. Vincent Services to say, okay, we will make our decision, and we'll decide, and we'll let you know, and then we'll figure out how we're going to get these boys. We ended up at St. Vincent Services in Brooklyn, and we're taking the boys back. It's Monday morning. We're getting ready to fly out, and they have two suitcases next to them, and they have plane tickets, and they said, "Can you please take them with you?"
Oh my!
Make a decision. It's like, we're not even going to give you time to decide. Your plane's in 2 hours. We just want to stop by and give us. So of course we were in love with them, and so we took them back. And so there's supposed to be this reciprocal thing between New York and California for our foster care, because they're not allowed to just adopt them right away. You have to wait like a year. And so they're at our house, and so New York calls California and said, "Okay, we sent these two boys to California. We're ready for this reciprocal agreement." And the foster care system in California says, "We don't have any a reciprocal agreement with you at all, and we're not going to do it." And so New York says, "Well, we don't care. I guess you're foster parents, and you can just have them." And it took a year, and then we had to go back to New York to do the final adoption.
Wow.
But oh my gosh, it was yeah. Here's two kids, and now they're twin boys, and they're 4 years old, and now you have them for the rest of your life. And so that's my experience in New York. So it's a happy experience because I got two of the greatest kids ever, but I haven't been back. So I can't wait. And the reason I'm saying that because this Friday I get to go visit SIFU and we chop it up some more. Oh man, so I'm out of breath because I was just trying to tell that story real quick because I want to leave some time for us to have this conversation. Um, so I want you to just tell a little bit about you and your upbringing. I tell my guests, hey, your story is your story. Start wherever you want. I've heard some stories because we've met, but whatever you think would be pertinent for our audience to be able to talk to here. Then after that, we're just having a conversation that I know is not only going to edify folks, but it's going to help people maybe get unstuck or help people that want to move forward, get forward. I mean, we're talking about living boldly with purpose. And what
Mm.
does that mean? And I know one of the big things that you talk about all the time is how do we get you on stages? How do we get you in places where you can shine? And that's what you're so amazing at. And so thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for spending time with me. I'm going to let you talk for a little bit and just tell us all about who SIFU Raphael is.
Oh man, I gotta tell you what an incredible story that you just told us. So you left New York with two gifts.
I did.
Two gifts. You did. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And those boys are so lucky that you and your wife decided to come to New York to even consider it, right? So my story is about finding your purpose and understanding who you are as a person. Uh, I um, I came from Colombia,
Okay.
and I had near death experiences in Colombia. I even was in a coma when I was a kid,
Oh,
about two and
wow.
a half years old, about 3 weeks or so, and I almost lost my eye back then at a different incident. Attacked by dogs, all kinds of crazy stuff. This before the age of 8, and then I leave Colombia, South America. I know some people like, you're Colombian? And then when I speak, they're like, oh, yeah, you're Colombian. And I speak in
I
Spanish,
love it.
right? So what winds
Yes.
up happening is here I am. I'm excited for a new country. I'm nervous and everything. And I get hit big time. Nobody understands me. You mean nobody speaks Spanish? What? So here I am in a foreign country, a foreign language, and I am not fitting in. I don't fit in anywhere. And so instead of going to third grade at 8 years old, I'm put in first grade. And because my parents didn't know any better, my dad walked me to school. And I'm not going to say it was up uphill both ways, but it
Mhm.
was it was about 2 miles both
Wow.
ways.
Okay.
And what my dad did is, because he's old school, he walked me to school once and walked me back. And he goes, now you know how to get to school.
Oh gosh.
And that was it. So I walked to school every day. It didn't matter if it was raining, storming, snowstorm. I got lost in a snowstorm, right? I was at a different school at this point. But once again, I had to walk. My parents didn't realize that I could have taken the bus.
Oh
They
gosh.
didn't know any better
There was a
because they
bus
were
that probably right in
foreigners.
front of your
They
house,
were
right?
foreigners, right? So they had no idea they could take
Oh
the
gosh.
bus, that I could take the bus. So my dad walked me there once. And so there, I'm going, pouring rain. I'm walking to school. I got to get to school. And so the teachers kind of felt bad for me, and they were like scrambling one time. There was this huge water going in, right? And it was like a flood. And I walked through it and it's waist height. And I walk through it. I get to school, and the teachers are like, "Oh my God, what's with this kid?" So they scrambled to get me some clothes that were left over. So I'm wearing all these clothes and stuff. And one of the things that happened is I couldn't see the blackboard as I thought I could. And then the teachers actually talked to my parents. And because I had a fall in Colombia that almost killed me, the one that put me in a coma, I had I had two gifts when I left the doctor's office when my dad took me to the doctor. One was a patch on my eye, and the other one was glasses. So now I'm going to school, a kid who doesn't speak English, a kid who looks weird, doesn't understand what anybody else is saying, and now has a patch and glasses. Can you imagine the bullying that I went through? I
Oh
mean, it
gosh, I was
was
just getting
so
ready to
much
say
love
kids.
was given to me by all these people. And, it's not the kind of love that you want. It was this kind
Yeah,
of love, like, and
yeah.
making fun of you and the whole deal. But you know what? That's okay. Here's the whole thing, right? When you have people who are trying to hurt you, and in the same instance you have people who are trying to help you, you understand that humanity is a beautiful thing, because you're going to have people who are going to put you down, and you're going to have people who are going to lift you up. So when you think about living boldly, you have to be able to see with everything. And one of the gifts that I got from wearing an eye patch is that I was able to see things that other people couldn't. And they had
Oh,
two eyes. I had one. I mean, I still have my eye. I just had a patch on it, right? And so
yeah.
what wound up happening is I was able to see things. My mom saved my report cards. I don't know why she did it. I still have them in my drawer. And
Oh wow.
about a couple of weeks ago, right? In
Uh-huh.
first grade, the teacher wrote back one of the comments, from my grades. He doesn't speak much, and he doesn't get along with the other kids. Go wonder.
Wow.
So,
Why? Yeah, I got a patch on
go
my
wonder.
eye, and everybody's
That's a
making fun of me.
brilliant teacher. But there was teachers there. For example, there was a teacher, and I wish I would have known her name, but I didn't know any better, right? This woman came in, sat me in the back with other kids, and helped me pronounce words I never heard. And so she was an angel, right? So like I said, there are people who are going to put you down because they don't know any better. And because that's what they see. When they see something different, that's all they want to, they feel uncomfortable maybe. And so all they know how to do is lash out. Remember, a bully who makes fun of another person is because they don't want to be made fun of. So they rather put the attention on someone else. So that happened to me a lot, right? And so it taught me to understand that, yeah, I may be alone, but God never left me alone. He was with me every step of the way, walking through the rain, walking through snow, getting lost in a snowstorm. For 3 hours, I was lost in a snowstorm, right? All I had to do was walk home. But when the snow is in front of your face, and it's New York, and it used to snow so high, it doesn't snow that high anymore. It's kind of weird, but that's global warming, I guess. I don't know
Oh,
what's
yeah,
going on here, right?
yeah.
But it taught me that no matter what I'm going through, he's walking with me. And what a blessing that is to me. So every day I wake up knowing that no matter what I've gone through, no matter what obstacles I've faced, that I need to get over it. And just, there's no pity party. I've never had one. I don't
Uh-huh.
want one. I want a fun party, not pity. Don't pity me because I've gone through things. And all the things I've ever gone through, I've almost drowned twice. I've been attacked by dogs twice. One time it was attack dogs, and that was their job. And I still love dogs. It was their job. They were doing their job. I was a little kid before I came from Colombia, and they didn't know that I was a little kid. They just saw somebody who was strange in their home, which I was visiting relatives and they had attack dogs. And here's the thing, I could not sleep on my back. I had to sleep on my belly because they
Wow,
attacked my
they get you.
back.
Wow.
That's the first time I got attacked by dogs. I love dogs. And then another time I got attacked by a dog. So it doesn't take away from me understanding that we all have a purpose in life. Those
Mhm,
dogs were doing their job.
mhm.
So do I blame them for it? No. Do I blame the fact that I almost lost my eye? I went in a coma? No. Do I blame the abuse I received as a child? No, I don't. You know what I say? It was a learning experience. It was so I can grow into the person that I've known now, so I can help people reset who they are. And for me, every day when I get up in the morning, first thing, and it doesn't matter what time. When I was a kid, I used to have a hard time waking up. Now there is no hard time getting up. I get up before my alarm. I don't even know why I put an alarm on. I put my alarm at 4:30 every day, and I'm up wait. Sometimes it's an hour before my alarm. Sometimes it's 20 minutes before my alarm. But I never wake up with my alarm. And that's been for a very, very long time. And because I understand that God has a mission for me, and it's for me to get up and do what I need to do. There's been so many times at 3:19, I don't know, 3:19, it's got to be a magical number because I'm woken up at so many times at 3:19. I
Mm.
still don't know what it means. If anybody out there does know, reach out to me, let me know. 3:19, I wake up and there's things on my mind. I've gotten up, I get pen and paper, and I start writing like a maniac, and I start
Mhm.
writing and writing. And I've written so many chapters to books. I've written titles of books. I've written speeches. I've written so many things at 3:19 in the morning, and I cannot go back to sleep. Sometimes it's happened at 2 something in the morning. But so what happens is the first thought that goes into my mind is gratitude. I say, God, thank you. Thank you for all the gifts you've given me. Thank you for everything in my life, from my lungs, for my breath, for my ability to move. The other thing that people don't know about me is I had polio as a kid. So I lost the ability to walk, right, for several years. And so if you remember Forrest Gump, I had braces like that. And, and,
Mhm.
and when I watched that movie the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, that was me. So
That was
I
you.
have when I watched it, it was almost like I was watching myself, especially when he ran out of the braces. I was like, I never ran out of the braces. I wish I would have, right? When he ran out and they broke off, that didn't happen to me. For me to be able to walk 10 feet when I started to learn to walk again, it would have taken me an hour. But it's those moments to understand that I fell and I got back up. I fell and I got back up. Those are the moments that made me understand that I'm not walking alone. I never have been. The moments that I am by myself, the reason I get up at 3 whatever in the morning, sometimes a lot of times it's 3:19, other times it's 3:48. This morning I was up at 3:59, right before 4 o'clock, right? And I said, "Oh, it's time to wake up," right? And it makes me understand that there's so much that we have to be grateful for. That the first thing I start with is God, thank you. And then after I thank him for the gifts he's given me, I ask him to please allow me to share those gifts with others because I don't want to be
Mhm.
selfish. I can't take anything with me when I go to the other side. So I might as well share. So for me, it's about how can I help you be the better version of who you're supposed to be. So that is who I am. How can I help? That's my mission.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Love it. So many things I've written down that I want to unpack here. And so the first thing is 3:19. And I don't know if this is it or not, but Ephesians 3:19 says, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of the fullness of God.
Oof.
So that might be the 319 that you just, oh my gosh. Oh, and so when I think about your story and just some of the things that you said, like, alarm clock, I haven't used alarm clock forever either because I keep getting up and doing the same thing. But I can tell you, like 9 o'clock last night, I was like this, just trying to stay awake. I'm trying to go to bed early, but I just think about that journey of coming from Colombia. I keep telling my wife that we need to go have a house in Colombia, so I'm trying to
Mm,
convince her. And so you might have to be the person who puts that together for us. Oh my gosh! But then when I think of your journey and the things that you were willing to do and the toughness, it reminded me of a time when I think of people who are going through, right. And so I went
mm,
to the black church when we were growing up, and there was always these ladies that were sitting in the first two rows in the Baptist church. They had white hats on and the white gowns, and they were the ones that were speaking the loudest to the preacher. And you always
mm.
kind of wondered where their husbands were. Maybe they were out being ushers or working somewhere. They'd all be in this group, and there was this lady named Mrs. Johnson, and I would meet her every Sunday, and I said, "How you doing today, Miss Johnson? Are you doing okay?" And she said, "I'm going through it, baby. I'm going through it, but life is gonna be good. I'm going through it." And I thought to myself, Miss Johnson, are you ever gonna get through it? Because you've
Mm,
been going through it ever since I started as a kid at this church. When does that stop happening? And then I
mm.
hear you talk about it, and you went through it. What in your identity or the things, because things are hitting you and they're happening to you, and somehow through your identity and the people you're around or the places, and I know that's how you help people, but what do you think it was that allowed you to get through these things instead of just going through it? Maybe I'm just going through it.
I had a thought actually, I think it was last night, and God never puts anything in front of you that you can't handle.
Yes.
So it means that I was strong enough to handle those things. So when God called me to go through that, it's because he knew I can handle it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always I laugh at is somebody who is swimming with sharks. They go, God, why am I swimming here with sharks? They're gonna, and God says, no. First, your enemies are afraid of sharks. Second, they don't know how to swim. So you're in the right place. You're not afraid of sharks. Keep going.
I love it. I love it. And as I think about our identities and growing through, and so now you come to a place where you figured out that your purpose is helping people, and and your experiences that you've had are all helping you in this journey because you've been through so much that people go, "Oh, I've done that before, or I've done that before, or I felt that way before." Where do you think, at what point did that just become not only a purpose that you felt God telling you this is what I want you to do, but then acting on it? Because I think there's so
Mm,
many folks that feel like this calling or feel this is what I'm supposed to
mm.
do, but they just sit on top of it and they don't. They just keep doing what they're doing. What was it that inspired you or sparked you to go, I have to do this. I cannot not do this.
I don't want anybody to suffer the way I suffered or go
Mm,
through what I went through. So I don't recall anymore because I've had so many near death experiences that I almost drowned twice. So, and this is before high school, right? That later on, a friend of mine says, "Hey, I used to live in Flushing, but near Flushing Meadow Park." And he goes, "Hey, there's a boat but it's by the lake."
mhm.
And I'm like, "Oh, let's go check it out." His little sister comes with us. I don't know if we're 13, 14, whatever. And we go out there and there's a boat and it's a rowboat. I'm like, "Oh, let's take it out." So we all three jump in and we're going. And his little sister, we're about 50 feet off land. She goes, "I want to go back." And she jumps off the boat, this
Oh,
rowboat. She jumps off. And he jumps after her. Now, here's my dilemma. I already know how to swim. I know he doesn't know how to swim. And I know his little sister doesn't know how to swim either.
And she jumped off the boat.
And she jumped off and he jumped off.
No.
Because as a brother, he was there to save her.
Mm-hmm.
So my dilemma is not about what do I do? I didn't think about it. My dilemma is who do I save?
Yeah.
God put it in my head that that's not a question I ask. I saved them both.
You said both.
And
Yeah.
I did. And I saved my friend and I saved his little sister. Now, there was a negative that came from that. I throw them up on the boat. I get back on the boat. Obviously, she wants to go home. So I row back out and they're on the boat. Now, this water was so smelly. I smelled like for 3 days, no matter how many showers I took. That was the only negative of it. But the positive is that I felt God telling me I had to save them both, not one of them, but both of them. And I don't know where the energy or the power came for me to be able to save them both. That later on, when I had the opportunity in high school, I found out that I can help kids learn how to swim. But the time to help them how to swim was before school started, and we called it zero period.
Zero period.
Zero
I know.
period. So I used to go to school every day, day in, day out, and show up to help be in the pool. Anybody who wanted to learn how. So I taught them the elementary backstroke, and within half hour, they were swimming across the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was a calling that I just knew I had to do. It wasn't, oh, you know what? It's too early for me. It's not convenient.
Yeah.
Life is not convenient, by the way.
No.
Life has never been convenient for me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You brought back so many memories. I was a beach guard at Newport Beach, and I also worked at a water park. And the question I had is, when you're trying to save two people, sometimes if they're panicking, you have to kind of smack them. And
Oh,
so
gotta knock 'em out. Listen, I became a junior lifeguard, so I understand. When I was in high school, I became a junior lifeguard. So one of the biggest lessons we had to learn is that, hey, listen, they're gonna drown you. In order
Yeah.
for you both to be safe, you gotta knock them out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, if
Oh
I
my
have to
gosh.
knock you out to save you, it's called love, right?
Yeah. But what's such a great lesson that says, wait a minute, there are two people there. I don't have to make the decision. I'm going to save them, as many people as I possibly can, until I can't do it anymore.
Right.
And if we were to approach life that way, that if we were to go out and think of the people, and knowing that hurting people do hurt people in many ways,
Mhm.
and that my job as a lifeguard, whether it's in the water or it's in, just life, is to save as many people as I can. And
Mhm.
it's going to hurt sometimes,
Mhm.
because it's not only you, because they're trying to drown you or hurt you back at the same time, or it's going to hurt them because you have to smack them into their systems so that you can then talk to them, right? And
Right.
that comes different ways when we think about it emotionally, or the things we say. So it doesn't mean I'm just like, I'm going to give you everything that you want,
Mhm.
but I'm going to give you the things that you need.
Yeah,
Maybe give us
absolutely.
some examples of how you've helped folks over the years, that have come to you, or that you've been in their circles, that you're making a difference for, just because they showed up.
I get phone calls all the time. People
Mhm.
ask me for business advice. How can you, what are you doing in your businesses? How do you help me with this? How do you help me with that? Um, I do have a communication school, right? And you're going to come to it, right? And in the communication school, we have workshops, and we teach people how to get on a stage. We teach people how to even act, how to be, even with their family, how to do a presentation, the power of words. So a lot of times people just come to me because they may be lost or they need a reset. So
Yeah.
I help people understand the value that they have, because every single person, and I'm talking to you out there who may be watching this again, right? Dr. B is incredible. And I'm going to tell you, when I met him, he brought his heart, right?
Mm.
And I'm going to show you what he gave me.
Wow. That's the book. Yes, sir.
And then he signed it also, right? So look at this. He didn't just write his name, Dr. B. He I'm not going to let you read it, but he signed it, right? Because it's personal. But when we can help somebody in any aspect of their life, whether it's a reset, help them in their business, that's what I do, right? I help people understand the value that they can bring to the world. And that's when people stop being selfish, they grow.
Yeah.
So many people are so selfish because they only think about themselves. But when you stop, you got to think. Listen, I am the most selfish person you'll ever meet. At 3:19 in the morning, it's all about me.
Me.
Just
Yes,
nobody
sir.
else is up anyhow, right? Nobody else
Yeah.
is up anyhow. And so my mornings are so sacred. That's when I pray. That's when I read. That's when I work out and I meditate. And sometimes, 5 in the morning, I'll be up on a ladder doing electrical work.
Mhm.
Why? Because it needs to be done, or I want to change things. So I'm always adjusting and changing things because I get bored with things being the same, right? The earth changes every day. Your whole body, believe it or not, every 10 years, you're a new you.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
organs change, your skin changes, your blood recirculates. You have new blood every 10 years. So why are we staying the same? We need to adapt. We need to focus on the beauty around us. Every single day, we have a chance to do more, to do better, to help someone. So when somebody comes to me, no matter what part of their life they've been in, and it's happened to me from a little kid. I've had people ask for my advice as a little kid, as a teenager, as an adult, as a young adult, as I keep growing in age. And the more I help people, the more I realize I'm helping the number one person in the whole world, and that's me. So
Mm.
if I can help you, my gosh, the help you're going to give me back is tenfold. It's tenfold. So if I'm helping you in your business, if I'm helping you how to get on a stage, if I'm helping you in your fitness, in your lifestyle, you're helping me. And what I get back, forget the finances. I get
Yeah.
back as a human being. Oof, it just blows me away.
Wow. I love this because the direction we're going, and you mentioned time. And I see that there's all of us have the same amount of time. There's only 24 hours in a day, right? There's only 168 hours or whatever it is in a
Mhm.
week and 365 days a year. And yet some of us choose to spend that time either in grudges or spend that time, being mad at somebody or spend that time uh, being entertained, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but I'm just saying
No.
how do to get to a place where we get to serve and we get to help others and we get to move, which is the greatest joy we can all do, is to serve another man. And yet you talked about it being so selfish with our time. How have you learned? I mean, I love the 3:19 in the morning because you got 3 hours before anybody's even going to want to talk to you, you know.
Don't get me wrong. I have people that reach out to me at that time.
Yeah. Um, but how do we spend our time? I mean, what are some of the ideas or the things that you teach on being productive of what the time is? Because you see one person who takes the time that they have and grows exponentially, and seems like to multiply and grow time like there's, they find people and other things. And you have that other person who's always out of time. And yet they say, I've been working 15 hours a day and I'm not moving the needle. And yeah, talk to me about time.
So, and I love that you said that we all have the same amount of time, but there are people who say, "Oh, I had the longest day." You mean longer than mine? So,
Exactly.
so I think that if we look at this perspective of our own time, what if we knew exact day and time we were going to pass to the next
Oh my gosh,
life?
yeah.
How
Yeah.
would we handle our time? Would we waste it? Would we be on social media scrolling for hours? Would we be sitting watching Netflix? Would we, and I'm not knocking Netflix, don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily watch Netflix, but I do watch stuff, right? So, but I don't have I don't go home because I got to watch a show that's airing at certain time. I stream it so I can watch it anytime I want when it's on my downtime, right? Because we do need entertainment. We do need to wind down a little bit. But winding down more than an hour means you wasted that. So if you're going to wind down, it's going to take you 5, 6, 7 hours to wind down. What are you doing, right? Are you- What if I said to you, or somebody said to me, Rafael, Stifu, you're going to pass tonight at 5:38. Who do I want to spend my time with
Yeah.
now? Sometimes we may have to travel somewhere, like you're going to travel to come here to see me and spend time with us. So I value your time. So what do you do when you're traveling? How do you value your time? Listen, you put on a podcast, you read a book, you do something. So a lot of people I see, they go on because I travel a lot like you do. And when I'm traveling, if I'm driving, there's a audio book I'm listening to. I am using my time to grow, either a podcast, an audiobook, or if I'm on a plane, I open up that book. Or if I have a project I'm doing, I open up my laptop. I don't just sit there and go, "Oh, yeah, just gonna sit back here and relax," which I'm already sitting anyway. Aren't I relaxed? So why don't I let my brain do what it's supposed to? It's a computer, right? Let's get the download, people. Every morning, here's how I go to sleep, right? My fiance says to me, "How'd you sleep last night?" I said, "With my eyes closed." And she goes, "Come on now." So, so,
Love
so the
it.
thing is,
That's so
and the
good.
reason she says that is because so many times she knows I get out of bed not because it's by choice. From polio, I still get cramps, like a really bad cramp. So I get up and I can go back to sleep. And sometimes the cramps last, and you ever had a cramp? How long does it last? 30 seconds, 40 seconds? Mine can last anywhere from 45 minutes, right? So it's that cramp.
Oh my
Sometimes
gosh.
about a couple of years ago, I almost had to go to the hospital because the cramps were not ending, right? And then finally, my fiance got down and she rubbed them out, right? But and I'm so grateful for her. But sometimes she goes, "You want me to rub that out?" I'm like, "Nah, I'll be fine." So when I feel pain, I thank God because it's the perspective that we have. It's like, I feel, therefore I am alive. I am alive. So every day when we get a chance to understand who we are, where we are, how we're moving around, what time do I have left? I want to take advantage of it. So if I'm in pain, hey, number one, I get to feel pain. I'm alive, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times people say, hey, take an Anacin, you have a headache. I said, for what? I'm feeling, that means I have a head, right? I have a brain. So maybe I either need more water or I need something. So I listen to my body is my best communicator. So because I have a communication school, why am I not listening? If one of the things that we have to do is as a communicator, you have to listen more than speak, right? So, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I'm speaking a lot now because this is what we do on shows like this, right? But a lot of times I'm very quiet and I'm
Mhm.
listening and I'm paying attention. So when somebody else speaks, I shut it, right? Because your brilliance will not shine if I interrupt it left and right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. And you think of, you know, if we were able to live life as if there's an expiration date, what more would we do? But
Mm,
we do have an expiration date. We just don't know
you
what it is,
do.
so we don't live like because we don't know what it is. But how much more would we continue to do? One of the things that we talk about a lot, at least I do, and on the show is this thing called personal development and making sure that I can show up if I'm going to serve others, and that's what my purpose in life is to be able to do, then I have to work on me. I can't be that same person every single day that I was before. And
Mm,
so, if we think about time and how much time should be spent on working on ourselves so we can be there for others, in your mind, what, this whole world of personal development and growing, how much time, 3:19 in the morning to 6:19. I mean, that'd be 3 hours a day times 7 days, 21 hours a week. But I don't. Some of that time is not, working on you probably. But
It
what?
is actually.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
Sometimes longer than that, right? Sometimes
Yeah,
longer
yeah.
than that.
But the
So
average person who's just listening to us today, going, I want to do better. I want to be better. I only have the same 24 hours a day. I'm just not spending it the way
mm,
that I probably should to be able to grow the way that I want to.
I pose this question to my clients. How old do you want to be when you pass, when you die?
Mm.
That's a question we all have to answer for ourselves. By the way, Dr. B, you are welcome, and not only welcome, but your invitation is out right now. You need to be at my 100th birthday party. We're gonna
I will be there.
party. We're
I
going to
will be
party.
there.
So it's living with intention. But here's the thing, right? So when I ask my clients, how old do you want to be when you die? And so many of them say, oh, I never thought of that
Oh
because
my
they don't want to
gosh.
think about death.
Yeah,
They don't want to
no.
think about that. They're terrified of death. The difference with me is that I've almost died so many times that I'm not afraid of death.
Mhm, mhm.
What I'm afraid of is not living. And that's scarier. That's nobody wants to do that, I hope. So think about
Yeah.
this, right? All my clients that I pose that question to turn around, and once they start working with me, I had somebody recently say, well, I never thought of it. 79. They threw out a number 79. Can I tell you? After working with me about 4.5 months, they've changed their number. They said closer to 90. I said, congratulations. I said, but you're still thinking small. You're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
small because we live in an age where technology is really something else. AI, whether we like it or not, and did you say AI? Did I just say AI?
You said AI.
Relationship versus AI, right? Relationship. Everybody, you need to get this book, by the way. This is he's not plugging it, I am. So get the book, Relationship versus AI. But AI is here to stay whether we like it or not. But your relationships are something else that you need to hone in on. And you can have a relationship with AI, but it's how AI is going to come and help technology. Doctors are able to do better operations because of AI. I have a friend of mine who has, I think, 6 patents now with AI, actual patents on medical procedures that help. So think about that, right? And every day we have a chance to be better, to grow into the person we're supposed to be. So when my client says to me, in only 4 months working with me and understanding and seeing the value that they can bring, and they elevated from 79 to probably closer to 90, almost 20 years or so. And I'm not done with them, right? Because
Yeah.
they're going to have to come to my 100th birthday party too. So,
Right.
and I say, hey, listen, I don't want you showing up with some walker or nonsense like that. I said, if you do, you do, but I want you thinking of being healthy at 90, at 100, at 100. My great 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 grandfather lived to be 113, and I'm going to kick his butt, right? So think about that. I say I'm going to be 125 and over, right? So if
Mhm.
we know what we want out of life, then we have to go for it. We have to set a plan. If we allow other people to plan our lives are in their hands. Let's
Yeah.
take control. Reset you to who you're supposed to be.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I was thinking about health and that kind of stuff. I turned 60 on March 12th of this year.
Nice.
And I told everybody that I just hit my halfway point
Mhm.
because there's so much to do. There's so many
Mm.
people to help. And then I started thinking about health, right? And some of the people that you have those conversations with, they're thinking sitting in that nursing home with the TV tray from the
Mm.
time they wake up till the time they go to bed. And that's a miserable life. To me, it would be a miserable life if that's what all I'm doing every single day is existing. And
Oh,
so making sure that we find ways, uh, and I think one of the things that keeps me the healthiest is serving others, right? Because when you get the opportunity to go out and do that, and it's not all about you, and you have other ways that communities and things you want to do to make sure people are going to thrive, then no,
mm.
you got. Hey, we don't have enough time. We got to
Right.
keep going. There's too many
Right.
people on this planet, and they keep adding on to it. And so, how do we do that? And as you think about your health and the things that you do on a daily basis, maybe just give us some insight of some keys that have kept you youthful and kept you saying, "Hey, like you said, you're going to be 120." So you don't think you're going to go through this massive sickness of not being healthy if you're going to live to 120.
Well, one of the things is I don't like going to the doctor unless it's for a dinner date with my doctors, right?
Oh, I
So
like
when I
that.
see my doctors is because we're breaking bread together. It's not, don't get me wrong, I do see my doctor once a year, and I saw her not too long ago, and she's incredible. And she's on her computer. She goes, "So you take no medications?" I said, "No." She goes, "On any pills? On any this?" I said, "You're my doctor, don't you know?" She goes, "But sometimes they think that you're gonna go somewhere else." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No." I said, "And I'm gonna keep it that way." She goes, "Good for you." And then she's typing up stuff, and then uh, she goes, "You're in incredible health."
Hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, because that's what I teach people."
Yes.
She goes, "Yeah, keep doing it, keep doing it." So when we think about our health, it should be priority, and people start to think about money as priority. And like I said earlier, you cannot take the money with you. Don't
No.
get me wrong, you need money to survive in this crazy world we live in. If we were cavemen back in the day, all I had to do was, my only worry was not to get eaten by that big animal over there, right? That was my big worry, and where to find shelter. But now it's not only do we have the shelter, but how much can we eat in one day in one sitting? How much can, oh my God, I'm so bloated. Oh, And it's because we're no longer paying attention to the gift that we've been given, and we're throwing it away. Every time we stop at a fast food place, we're throwing our life away. Every time that we're consuming sugar, 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 we're throwing our life away. So it's up to us to say, it's time to reset. It's time to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to eat that way because it does not serve me. I'm not going to sit on the couch for this many hours because it's not serving my purpose. I cannot be brilliant if I'm not doing and learning. And I think one of the questions that you had asked earlier is, when is it important for us to continue to build ourselves? I say 24/7.
Yes.
24/7, because if I am working on helping you, you're working on helping me. I will never take a client who's only a taker, because all they're going to do is take, and then they're going to say I was no good for them.
Yep.
I want a client who's a receiver and then turns around and gives.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are many takers in this world. And if you're a taker, you can change. You can change.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can change. So think about, receive a compliment, receive a salary, receive payments, receive things, but don't take something that's not yours. Receive, but give. And the more you give, the more you receive. And I'm talking to all the people who don't understand that concept, because they're like, I deserve this. No,
Mm.
you don't deserve anything.
No, no.
You receive that which you deserve. But you have to be so open-hearted to do so. So open your hearts. And it's okay to receive. So if somebody gives you a compliment, they'll go, oh, you know what? I'm not that good. So you know what? I'll receive that. Thank you. And as an athlete myself, and I've been an athlete my whole life, and I'm still very hard on myself.
Mhm.
I still say I'm no good. I haven't arrived. And I never want to arrive. And I never want to say I'm that good that I don't need any more training, because I constantly train myself, and I look for other people who can help me train even more. So this is why coaching is so important to me. That's why I cannot be a good coach if I don't have one. I cannot be a
Absolutely.
good coach if I don't have one. Because guess what? I can't tell you what's in the back of my neck, but my coach can, because they're back there, right? When you go to the barber and you get a haircut, and this is the same thing for a lady, if she's getting, she goes to the hair salon. What does the barber do when they finish cutting your hair? Bye. No, they show you the back of your head.
Mhm.
Why do they do that? Because they want you to trust them, that they took care of that which you cannot see. And that's a good barber. If you ever went to a barber and he goes, bye, and all you see is the front, he doesn't even, the barber even shows you from the side, right? Because if you do this, you can't
Yeah.
see the side. So you're looking there and he's doing this, so that you have a good barber, somebody who's saying, hey, I covered all areas. I took care of you, right? So why do people like going to the barbershop, right? And you've seen so many movies, right? Eddie Murphy, I love the movie, Coming to America, when he was in the
Oh
barbershop
god.
and he played every part, which was
What is that,
hysterical, right?
Elvin?
Right?
Yeah.
But
Oh
but
my.
think about it, right? And so when you have somebody guiding you along the way, as long as they care for you, if all they want is your money, you have the wrong coach, you have the wrong mentor. If they care about you as a human being, And yeah, you know what? You're taking away their time, which is so valuable. So yeah, they deserve to get paid. Listen, if you want to be coached by me or mentored by me, guess what? My time is ticking. You got to pay for that time. So when you think, oh, I'm not going to pay him that much money, I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. Because my time is worth more than you can possibly afford. If you really want to afford what I'm worth, you got to become a billionaire to afford me.
There you go. There you go.
So you got to value your time and your worth.
The gems that you just talked about in the last few minutes, not that the whole podcast hasn't been great. I can't wait to go back and listen to it. But it really hones down onto the values and the values you to place on yourself and on others. And the last part you just said, if I'm not valuing me as
Mm.
I go out and do stuff, how is it that I can go value others? And the time that you spend and the things that you say and the things that we say to each other all the time and the relationships that I'm so big on relationships, and we got to have another show that's just on relationships.
Mm.
But the people that you go out and find, and I love where you just said, if you have a coach and all he wants is your money, and you'll feel that, you'll know that, then you need to run. Doesn't matter who it is. If Tony Robbins came to me today and said, "Ryan, I want to coach you. You have to give me $1 million or $2 million, whatever it is," and I had it and I gave it to him, but he didn't care about me, he would be the wrong coach for me. Now, all that I know about Tony Robbins, I think he would pour into me and he would love on me and he would care about me and all those other kind of things. But at the same time, there's so many folks that are out there that are chasing, the
Dollar.
diamonds and the cash and everything else. But the true relationships are made when somebody is willing, to be there for you. And that's kind of when we met and, sitting down with you and just knowing your heart and knowing, hey, you are willing to help first. We'll figure out the other stuff later. And I
Mhm.
thank you so much for that. We're coming time. I can't believe we talked an hour already. This has been so fun, and it's been almost everything that I envisioned that it would be. But I want more. And so, but for today, because I have to respect the time and the things that you have because it is valuable. What are any final thoughts that you would love to talk to us about, or just things that I was being selfish and I asked the questions that I wanted to know because I wanted it to help me? But I'm sure there's some things that you would love to say to everybody, maybe some final thoughts that would just encourage us to get out there and do the things that we should do so we can live in the purpose that we were born to be in.
Yeah, I truly enjoyed this conversation, and thank you for allowing me to speak on anything that I believe, right? But I always tell people, and when I say it's you truly do know. This is one of the things that pet peeves of mine when people say on a podcast. I'm like, no, they don't know. But in this instance, people do know their own worth. They're just
Yes.
afraid of knowing their own worth. So when I say you know your own worth, you know it. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that we allow society to put a price tag on our worth.
Mm.
Let me ask you this question. Imagine one person in your life that you love dearly,
Mm-hmm.
that you would do anything for.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, they're gone.
Yeah.
What would you pay
Have them back.
to have them back for a minute? 1 minute.
Mm.
That's all you
Mm-hmm.
get. So then why are we not telling people who we do love so much how we feel about them? Because they could be gone
Mm-hmm.
like
Just
that.
like yeah.
I sit with my fiance, and by the way, it's on my schedule. I have to have lunch with her every day, right?
Every day. I
Every
love
day.
it. I love it.
So, and I'm going to be honest with you. she knew that today I couldn't have lunch with her. So she was okay with it because I said, I'm going to be on Dr. B's show. She goes, okay. Guess what she's doing for me? She's bringing me food later so we can sit together because she's amazing. So when I'm sitting with her, I look at her and I turn around and I go, you know, I really love you, right? And she goes, I love you too. And then one day I said to her, I said, you know, you don't have to reply back with I love you too. And she goes, but I do. And I said, well, thank you. And my kids do the same thing. Every time I say, I have two boys, Marco and Giovanni, I said, I love you. And they go, I love you too, Dad. And I say to them, you don't have to say it back. But they feel it in their heart and they say, well, I have to say it, Dad, because that's how I feel. So if you take anything from this show today, realize that your life matters, that the people around you matter, that you never know somebody who may be contemplating ending their own life. And what your words can impact them. This is why when I do public speaking or professional speaking is more what I do, my words have to have impact.
Mm-hmm.
You heard me speak. I heard you speak. You impacted me. And I hope that I impacted you in a way.
You did.
But when we can share our love with another human being, it's priceless. And so I'm going to recommend everybody to tell your friends, your neighbors, that they have to watch Living Boldly with Purpose with Dr. B and make it a regular podcast that you listen to, because this man right here, he's exceptional. So follow him, get in touch with him, let him be one of your mentors. He and I, we're going to be connected. We're in this for life, brother. You know that, right?
Absolutely. 100%. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And I received that. Believe it. I received that. And thank you so much for being here. Had you not impacted me, I probably wouldn't have reached out so fast to say, please get on my podcast. Please have these conversations because I know for life, we got another 30, 40, 50 years together.
100. You're coming to my 100th birthday, kid. And then we got more to go after that.
Oh, I can't wait to come to your 100th birthday and be part of it and do things together because we're going to impact the world because we have that desire. We've spoken it. We've said we know what our purpose is, and God has shown it to us in a clear picture. I don't want you to forget Ephesians 3:19 today, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of the fullness of God. I want to speak that over to you today.
Oh my gosh.
God, full of the measure. If this is your first podcast, please subscribe, hit the notifications, whatever it is that we got to do to make sure that we continue to communicate. I believe 100% that you are God's greatest gift, and He loves you if you allow Him to. And I can't wait to see you, whether we're on the beaches of the world, or we're in the cities of the world, or we're in the towns of the world. Please reach out. Reach out. The New York experience is coming up. You go to SIFU's, SIFURAFAEL.com. Find out all about it. It's this weekend. Both of us are going to be there. If you are in New York or you are close to New York, make sure you find out how to get to see us this weekend. 100% get there. There's going to be some amazing folks there, some amazing speakers there, and some amazing communication things. If you're not on this one, you're going to be on the next one because you're going to find out all about all the things we're doing. So go to those websites. I can't wait to see you guys. You guys have a tremendous, awesome, incredible day, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one. See you later.